I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I am Andrew DeWolf.
And I'm Brianna Jones.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew and Bree to like musical theater. How are you doing today, guys?
Well, I've got a little bit of a problem.
Oh, okay. What's the problem, man? I'm here for you as a fellow friend.
Yeah, so my wife, who we've been married for almost a year now.
Oh my God, congrats. How old is she?
6. She refuses to, have sex. It's been almost a year. So I was wondering, Jess, if, you're like an old friend,
Pause. Video game choice screen below. Option A. I'm busy tonight, actually. Option B. Honestly, I think you should talk to your wife about your issue and that you're finding solace in the wrong place. Option C. What are friends for? What's your choice, Brianna Jones?
Hey, I'm busy tonight.
Incorrect. The answer is option C. What are friends for? And we fuck all night. But sadly, what happened after that, Brie, is my lover, who is also married, showed up in the middle, gets ferociously jealous of Andrew, and then we all get invited to a weekend in the country at my mother's house, where my lover challenges Andrew to a duel. And at that, because he caught Andrew with his wife. But sadly, the game of Russian roulette, it all goes to shit. Happy ending.
All right, we don't even have to go over the plot. We just did it.
This week, we're talking about a little night music. Cue the music, Bree.
A weekend in the country, we're invited. What a horrible plot. A weekend in the country, I'm excited. No, you're not. A weekend in the country, just imagine. It's completely depraved. A weekend in the country, it's insulting, it's engraved.
So A Little Night Music is a musical with a book by Hugh Wheeler and music and lyrics by Stephen Sondheim, based on Smiles of a Summer Night by Ingmar Bergman, which was a film. It premiered on Broadway at the Schubert Theater on February 25th, 1973. It played there until September 15th of 1973, then moved to the Majestic Theater on September 17th, and closed there August 3rd, 1974, after 601 performances and 12 previews. It was directed by Harold Prince with choreography by Patricia Birch and designs by Boris Aronson. The plot of it, Sondheim's 1973 musical based on the Ingmar Bergman Smiles of a Summer Night, follows aging actress Desiree Armfeld, her mother, Madame Armfeld, and a series of interwoven love affairs during one eventful weekend in the country. All right, Andrew.
Follows Desiree. I feel like Desiree is like the secondary lead. I don't.
Yeah.
Isn't the actual lead Frederick? I don't know.
I feel like the lead is Frederica, technically. I have a lot of thoughts about that, and it changes based on the version, in my opinion.
Okay.
So what happens in A Little Night Music? And also, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the only Stephen Sondheim, Hugh Wheeler collaboration outside of Sweeney Todd. I'm going to double check myself here. Yeah, I think it's only this one. Oh, one more check. Pacific Overtures was the other one. So this Pacific Overtures and Sweeney Todd.
So we've covered them all now.
Yeah, this is the last of their collaborations and probably their most financially successful. At least at the time.
I don't remember Pacific Overtures very well, but is this the only one with a happy ending?
Yeah, I'd say so.
People like a happy ending.
Unless you think the Western encroaching of, like, China is a good thing.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So what happens in A Little Night Music, Andrew?
Yeah, where do we start? Well, the characters, we have Desiree, the actress.
Yes. Her daughter, Frederica.
Frederica, and the mother, who I do not remember the name
Madame
of.
Armfeld. Just call her that.
And then we have the other couple, the other family, I should say, of Frederick.
Yes.
Last name.
Frederick Eggerman.
Eggerman, and Anne, and Henrik.
His son.
His son,
which is older than his new wife. I think it's worth noting.
Yes, very, very much worth noting, I would say.
Yeah.
Frederick's having a little bit of a problem, in that he's been married for almost a year, and they have not made love, as to say.
They have not hidden the pecker,
Yeah, which honestly is probably a good thing because she's like 18.
Yeah.
And he's like 57 or 58 or, 70, like something like that.
Somewhere in that territory, you're right.
So they go to a play where Desiree is, and he decides like, damn, why am I not still with Desiree, my old lover?
Yeah, did we set up that he used to be entwined with Desiree?
Oh yeah, and Desiree, she doesn't have much going on. She wants some of that Frederick action. You know?
That every woman, every famous actress, the thing that they want more than anything is a man between 40 and 70.
Yes.
Just listen to that Ali Wong special. She talks all about how she just wants to settle with an older man.
So Frederick goes to Desiree's house, or where she's staying.
Yeah, where she's staying because she's in a traveling play.
And he's like, you know, here's my predicament and let's do it. And she's like, hell yeah.
What are friends for?
But, she has this different lover who's like a soldier boy.
Count Carl Magnus.
He shows up. Carl Magnus shows up, and hilarity ensues in what is probably the longest fucking comedy scene in history. And you know, he knows what's going on, but he pretends to not, kinda. But then he definitely does.
But then he goes home to his wife to bitch about his mistress cheating on him.
Well, yes, because his wife knows that he is cheating on her.
And doesn't care.
She does not care.
Well, she cares, but she doesn't. It's a confusing thing, that character.
She does care, but she loves him so much that she still is with him and will not leave.
She sings a song called Every Day a Little Death.
Yeah. And then she goes, she gets sent to talk with Anne.
And tells her about Frederick sleeping with Desiree.
Yes. And then somehow, I think Desiree just decides to have the mother invite them
all to the country.
She does she not? She does not invite them all, though.
She doesn't invite Carl Magnus. Frederick. He just shows up.
Carl Magnus finds out because his wife is told from Anne.
Yes.
And then they all go.
And what happens there?
While they're in the country, oh boy, you know, lots of hilarity ensues, lots of wacky stuff. Frederick ends up in a duel with Carl Magnus.
Not even a duel, Russian roulette.
Yeah, which is just suicide. He's just...
Well, speaking of suicide, let's talk about Henrik.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, Henrik embarrasses himself in front of everybody by confessing his love for Anne.
His stepmother.
And then he's like, the world is a horrible place, you're all phonies, blah blah blah, and he runs out into the woods and tries to hang himself from a tree and fails miserably.
And then in comes Am and like, stepson, what are you doing?
Oh my goodness, I should have been with you the whole time. And then they run away. Yeah. And in probably the funniest scene, Frederick watches them run away and is just so completely defeated.
And decides to settle for Desiree.
Yep. So then Desiree and Frederick get together, and I think it's implied that Carl Magnus is he's all set and he's staying with his wife or something.
Yeah,
it's a happy ending.
He realized
for
he could be jealous of his wife too, because he for a second thought she was cheating on him with Frederick.
He realized that an open relationship where only one person is open is not an open relationship.
It's just cheating on your spouse. Bree, were you able to follow that?
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's great. Time
honestly, 10. There's a bit too many characters.
Oh, we didn't even bring up Petra, the best character.
Yeah, that's where it gets into like a bit too many characters. That character shouldn't exist, but whatever.
She sings the best song in the show. I
know, it's kind of embarrassing that she gets the best song and she shouldn't exist as a character.
Yeah. What did you think of it?
I liked it. I thought it was kind of good. There's some pretty funny stuff. A lot of the songs are really good.
Yeah.
But also, what the fuck?
What do you mean?
Like, what? Who thought of this shit? What the actual fuck?
Ingmar Bergman, apparently.
Yeah, like straight up, though, it's just fucking weird.
So, fun fact. Continue.
I was just going to say, of all the shows to give a happy ending, really, it's this one. We're going to give it to this one?
So they just... Hal Prince and Stephen Sondheim, may they both rest in peace. It really sucks to talk about both of them that they're dead, because when we started this podcast, they were both alive and still working, and now they're just both dead, and it sucks. And to see that progress happen while we've done this show, that bums me the fuck out. I'm not gonna lie. But they did Follies, which we've previously covered on this show, and that was notoriously a big flop.
Even though it was pretty good.
Yeah. So after that, they had done before that they had done Company and all those other good ones that got really good reviews, and they were like, we just want to do a hit. We just want to write a hit. So they took this old film and like just decided, let's just adapt this because we know people will like it. Sondheim decided to challenge himself by writing the entire score in waltz time and seeing if he could do it in these funny counterpoints. And it sounds incredible. Like everything feels like you could dance to it, which you can't say for a lot of Sondheim's work. In fact, Time called it at the time Sondheim's most brilliant accomplishment to date. And this is pre-Pacific Overtures and Sweeney Todd and Merrily Roll On.
It all being in a waltz time gives it this kind of more upbeat feel than
Yes.
a lot of his stuff has.
Don't disagree.
Which lends itself to the comedic elements quite a bit. And I think this is supposed to be pretty funny.
Yes, and I think on stage it really works. But if you put it into film, oh god.
Some of the highlights for me are just how unbelievably cringe Henrik is. Just, oh my lord. They nailed it with that character,
Yeah, I mean, Henrik is a lot like Petra. They also have an affair because he's sleeping with her and she's Anne's maid, and they're just kind of casually fuck sometimes.
Well, no, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get hard.
Okay. It feels like he's having an affair of sorts with her.
It was sinful and a miserable failure.
That's how my mother describes me too.
He's going to school to be like a pastor.
Yeah, a priest of some kind, studying the
And
faith.
he really likes playing the cello and talking about how everyone is so phony, and he wants to do good in the world.
What would he be in today times if you could adapt him into current times?
I always was thinking of Holden Caulfield.
Really? Yeah. Okay, elaborate, please.
Have you read that book?
I've read that book, yes.
I forget what the fuck that book's
The Catcher in the Rye.
The Catcher in the Rye. I love that character because he is unbearable. Like, actually just an unbearable character.
Do you want to hear his official character bio?
Yeah, sure.
Frederick's son, 20 years old, and Anne's stepson. He is serious but confused. He reads the works of philosophers and theologians while studying for the Lutheran priesthood. His sexual repression is a great cause of his turmoil, as he lusts after Anne and attempts to have a sexual encounter with Petra.
He just goes on these like rants about how everyone else is so like unwilling to do good in the world, and what's so embarrassing about trying to do good in the world? It's so cringe.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. But I wouldn't be surprised.
And then he just wants to fuck his stepmom. He's like, bro,
I just want to fuck my mom. I just want to cuck my dad. Come on.
He wants to fuck his stepmom so bad, but he needs to do good in the world. And oh, the world is such a terrible place and it's so sinful, but please let me fuck my stepmom or I'm going to hang myself from a tree.
Bree, your face is going on journeys as we talk about this musical. Like, did you expect this from Stephen Sondheim, the same brilliant man that brought us West Side Story and Sweeney Todd?
Yes and no. I will be like, when I have to read reviews, I'll be in and out listening to you guys. Like, I'll be like making sure I read through the review before I have to actually say it.
Yeah.
So all I hear is like, wants to fuck his 18-year-old wife, wants to fuck his stepmom.
Everyone wants
They're the same person.
They're the same person.
The same person.
Okay, great. Okay.
Everyone wants to fuck Anne. No one wants to fuck Magnus's wife, and
Yeah, not
Petra
even
just wants to
Magnus.
fuck everyone.
Okay. Does anybody ever fuck?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, later, and soon they fuck.
I like Frederick
You do?
because I think he's just such a sad guy. And I really, really love when he just breaks at the end. It's so good.
I'm not gonna lie. First time I watched this, he gave me John Arbuckle vibes, and I couldn't unsee it.
Right?
He's the guy that talks to his cat because he can't get laid.
His wife won't have sex with him. He doesn't want this other woman who does want him. And then his wife runs off with his son. And the first time I watched it, the look on his face when that happens, I was just like, yeah.
It felt good to see him in so much pain.
I took a screenshot and sent it to Jess.
Yes, he did. It was Andrew, you'll have to post that along with you when you retweet this, because that is prime.
He's just a broken man. Amazing. And then he's just like, Russian roulette? Yeah, whatever.
This is a total sidebar, but the amount of TikToks I get of girls being like, my boyfriend wasn't good enough, and then I ran off with his dad, or like I got his, like the amount of those TikToks I get is insane.
So this really is telling the story of TikToks before TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My God. I don't think I'd want to fuck anyone's mom, to be honest, because I'm not ready to be a father.
I definitely don't want to fuck anybody who's a dad.
You know, being a dad's not as important as being a mom, TBH.
It should be,
sexist
though.
Much. Wow-wee.
It should be, though.
I know, but dads run off all the time.
Jess, you know that I'm into the sad dad genre.
Yeah.
And I think Little Night Music really fits in there.
I mean, this might be the all-time saddest daddy on the planet.
Andrew, tell me more. Tell me more.
There is a sad dad and a sad wife in this, because we have
This guy he's a sad dad, both emotionally and morally. He is a sad and depraved little man.
I want to know about the other sad dad musicals, though.
Mrs. Doubtfire. That's a sad dad musical.
But
Falsettos.
Andrew was not into that.
That's because Mrs. Doubtfire sucks.
Falsettos. That's the ultimate sad dad musical.
Okay.
Falsettos is pretty okay.
Dad musicals. Jean Valjean. He's a pretty sad dad.
Oh, he's an extremely sad dad. He is he is the miserable, as they say.
Actually, the saddest dad, Bruce Bechtel from Fun Home. Got too sad he killed himself.
I think I remember giving a compliment to one of the songs in that because it was a sad dad song.
Yeah. Oh, Violet. That is another sad dad song show.
Daddy Longlegs. He's a sad daddy.
He's not sad.
Yeah. What else is there? Yeah, I think Tevye from Fiddler on the Roof. He's a pretty sad dad.
Oh, that's a classic. That's a really good one. He's a sad dad in many ways as well.
What about Mufasa from The Lion King? He's a pretty dead dad.
Dead dads are not sad dads. That's a sad son, is what it is.
All right.
All right. Well, I mean, you backed up your statement. I really just wanted to know about the other sad dad musicals.
Is Alexander Hamilton a sad dad? I mean, his son died.
Yeah.
He's definitely a sad dad.
Yeah.
Sad dads are very important in music,
storytelling in general.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the other characters a little bit outside of Frederick Egerman.
Yeah. Who else do we have?
I do want to talk about Countess Charlotte Malcolm, the Count's wife, who has some of the best songs.
She is a great character.
Yeah.
She might be the most dead inside character ever to appear on stage.
I agree. I have never seen a character with less fucks to give than this one. A female role where they just feel so betrayed in every facet of their life that they just want to go around ruining other people's lives. Andrew, explain her plan. Explain her plan to Bree, because I feel like that's like one of the craziest things. Because even when she's like explaining it to Anne.
Well, that's like the best part. And Anne says, "Oh, you too." That's great. That's a great comedic line.
Yeah.
But she's just like, I'm going to seduce Frederick to make my husband jealous. So basically she's like, yeah, your Frederick has been cheating on you, so I'm going to also cheat with your husband.
I'm going to also fuck your husband. But the way she says it is so clinical. She's like, I believe I have the skills to properly seduce your husband. It's like, what? Why? Why do you have to do that?
Because she has to make her husband jealous so that he will come back to her instead of trying to chase Desiree.
Like, she has one of the most iconic songs in the show, one of my favorite Sondheim songs of all time. And I want to talk about it here because we're talking about the character, and I don't think anything sums up her character better than just reading some of the lyrics.
Okay.
So the song is called Every Day a Little Death, where she talks about how every day she's slowly dying inside. Every day a little death, in the parlor, in the bed, in the curtains, in the silver, in the buttons, in the bread. And then she goes, he talks softly of his wars and his horses and his horse. I think loves a dirty business. Like that. It's just so depressing. So mean. And she's she's like this middle-aged woman talking to this 18-year-old girl about how every part of her marriage is just so miserable. And they're reflections of one another. Like, this is what you could become.
You have to run away with this kid.
I think if there's anything that like can be said about that film adaptation, which we'll talk about later, Diana Rigg as Charlotte is so good. She is so good in that role.
You know, I think we actually might be hitting the point where we should be talking about the movie.
I do want to talk about 2 more characters, and then we'll move on.
All right. Desiree?
I just want to talk about that entire family. Desiree, her mother, and her daughter. That family unit.
Okay.
So Desiree is always touring, so she left her daughter with her very rich mother.
Yes.
And
well,
what?
The mother insisted on that, didn't? Or is that a film specific thing?
No, that was always in the show.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So yeah, mother's like, you will not be taking my granddaughter around on these fucking tours with all these weird actors and not giving her an education and shit. So I'm going to stay here, teach her, and you go do your thing. And it bothers me because Frederica's like obsessed with her mother. She's obsessed with Desiree. And I'm kind of with the grandma on this one. Like, yeah, she's giving you all these opportunities and she's teaching you and being nice to you. And Desiree doesn't really care about you.
Okay. The grandmother is kind of awful, though.
She's kind of the best character, too, though.
Well, I feel like there's some sort of through line theme that I can't fully put my finger on, but the grandmother represents the end of it.
Well, there's 3 representations.
Well, the grandmother is one of them and the daughter is the other, or one of the others. And the third one is Petra, probably, who is like I don't even know.
Well, she brings up the thing where the knight smiles 3 times. Once at the young who know nothing, once at the old that know too much,
and once at the fools.
Yes.
And
it does all of them by the end, where Madame Armfeld dies. That's her getting laughed at. Desiree, when the clowns come in, because she is the foolish, and once at Henrik and Anne. So it all happens, and I think symbolism wise, I think that's a really cool idea. And it bothers me in the film they get rid of Madame Armfeld dying, because then we don't have the third smile.
I like that they don't even necessarily say that she died. She just kind of collapses in her chair and gets rolled off stage.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of Frederica as a character, the daughter?
She seems to just kind of exist to be spoken to. She doesn't have that much of a character other than just talking about her mother. I don't know.
I like the conversations she has with Madame Armfeld.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a lot of Madame Armfeld talking at her.
It's talking to the audience, I agree. But if you got a really good actress as Madame Armfeld, like the most recent revival had Angela Lansbury and Elaine Stritch, I could have either of those women tell me anything and I'd be like, yeah, more please, Grandma. But let's talk about the film adaptation.
A Little Night Music, a Broadway smash, winner of 7 Tonys, the New York Drama Critics Award, 7 Drama Desk Awards, and 2 Grammys. A Little Night Music is here and has already enchanted movie critics.
In 1977, Harold Prince, the renowned stage director, directed his second film of all time, based on the 1973 musical that he also directed. It stars Elizabeth Taylor, Diana Rigg, Leslie Ann Down, Len Cariou, Hermione Gingold, and Lawrence Guittard. And it was bafflingly terrible, especially for someone that created the original version. I feel like he did not have a proper understanding of how films work. So many critics had some great lines about this show, specifically Pauline Kael, who did not pull her punches in any way whatsoever. Her big line that she is often quoted in saying is that the picture had been made as if the director had never seen a movie before, let alone made one.
What I think is weird about it is it almost feels serviceable as a version of the play, but as a movie, it's so boring.
Yes. Because
it's like they just took the script for the play and they just filmed it and didn't do anything else.
let's talk about that opening scene for a second. So Sondheim took his Night Waltz and added lyrics to it, and I like the lyrics, but my God, Andrew, I know early on in this podcast you've talked about you liking when people talk to you personally, on the other side of the screen.
Yeah.
The Lynchian horror of the opening of this movie.
It's not a good opening. It's very jarring, and I wasn't really even sure what was going on.
Yeah. So describe what happens in the opening of the movie, please.
It's like it opens as if we're in the audience of a show, if I remember right. And then it's just kind of like all of the characters like talking about what they do. Like it's very fucking weird.
And they're staring right down the camera lens at you, the person watching it.
Well, honestly, a lot of it feels like it's meant to be like you're in the audience of a show, you know? Like a lot of the way that they film the scenes is just like a static camera shot. So
no cuts, just on a close-up of their face.
Maybe that's what they wanted with this opening. They're like, this is what we're going for. You're the audience of this. But it doesn't work. And the song isn't very good either. Like the way the lyrics like change it, I don't like it.
I don't hate the lyrics. I think it's just shot poorly. It's shot so poorly you think it's terrible.
Maybe that might be it.
Like it's so like if I saw that on stage, I don't think I'd hate it as much. And I think that the lyrics specifically are very good. There's like what is it? All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
Our love is a lecture on how you correct your mistakes, which I think is a brilliant line. Because lecture and correct your, like Sondheim's still working his ass off here. It just doesn't work. I feel uncomfortable. I feel like I'm watching a David Lynch film. I did not like that scene. I prefer Night Waltz as a beautiful melody, but also the opening of the stage show is so perfect where they just sing an a cappella, a beautiful like melody. It sounds so good. Why change that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like how Harold Prince read a book on what you're supposed to do with film adaptations and then read everything incorrectly in the left way instead of the right way. It's like, oh, we got to change the opening and be like less theatrical. Let's lean into the theatricality and just stare right through the camera lens.
There's like parts where it just feels like they go for like actually several minutes without moving the camera at all. There's a part, I'm trying to remember when it even is, but there was a part I noted where it was like just a shot of someone in a carriage for like 3 minutes, just straight on.
Yep, that's Everyday a Little Death. They didn't know how to shoot that scene at all.
Yep, so they're just like, let's just not. Let's just not shoot the scene.
Then, of course, the Now Later Soon scene where it's like everyone's got their little thing, later, and he's like, no, da-da-da-da. Everyone's got their little bits, and they just do a close-up on their face, and then they cut between those 3 close-ups, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
That being said, there is one effective scene, and I will explain why it's effective later. So,
which scene are you speaking of?
A Weekend in the Country, which is the ending of Act 1, one of the most famous Sondheim like quadrillettes ever. It's where everyone's getting ready to go to the countryside. And Stephen Sondheim dictated in his notes on the song how it was to be shot, how it was to be edited, and how it was to fit together. He had that planned out. And Harold Prince was like, all right, I'll do it. And that scene works. That scene really works. Everything else is garbage.
Should have got Sondheim to direct it then.
Not gonna lie, he probably should have. He'd do a pretty okay job, TBH. I do want to talk one more thing about the movie before we move on.
Yeah.
There is one big change from the stage show to the movie, and I think it reframes the entire story.
Okay.
So in the stage show, we have a song called The Glamorous Life, where we see Desiree's life, where it's like, unpack the luggage, la, la, la. And they're describing it. And Frederica gets cut to like, ordinary mothers live ordinary lives.
Ordinary mothers like ordinary wives. Fry the eggs and dry the sheets and try to deal with facts. Mine acts.
Darling, I miss you a lot, but darling, this has to be short, as mother is getting a plaque from the Helsingborg Arts Council Amateur Theatre Group.
In the movie, they just cut all that because that would be very hard to film. And they give Frederica this beautiful ballad about how her mother isn't around. And she's just like, Yeah, but my mom's better than other mothers because at least she's known around the world. All they have is a mother who's there. I have a mother who's special. And justifying it and making her the central character, making her the main character because she has the I Want song.
Which is very weird
I agree.
because she doesn't do anything throughout the entire rest of the story.
I agree, but it was a choice. And I ran a Twitter poll because that song is so effective that people, a lot of people, I'd say a majority of people, prefer the movie version to the stage version because we have a character in sight.
I also just think the Glamorous Life song is a little bit annoying. La la la. Like they literally do that like constantly, and it's just like,
There's an argument.
The Greek chorus comes in and does the la 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 with her, and it's like, I don't know.
I like it. I like that song, but I get why other people don't. And Brie, play the comparison of the other Glamorous Life sometime in there because that song also great.
Ordinary mothers don't live out of cases, but ordinary mothers don't go different places, which ordinary mothers can't do. Being mothers all day, mine's away in a plane, and she's realer than they. What if her brooch is only glass and her costumes unravel? What if her coach is second class? She at least gets to travel.
But you know what, Andrew? Who cares what we think? It's time to compare our opinions to those of the New York theater critics and the insane people on Letterboxd. It's time for reviews.
It's time for previews. It's time for previews.
Woohoo! Okay, we have a Ben Brantley.
Let's go.
Ben Brantley, in their review for the New York Times, wrote that the night itself is said to smile at the escapades of the adult lovers in a little night music. Stephen Sondheim and Hugh Wheeler's erotic waltz of a show from 1973. But the expression that hovers over Trevor Nunn's revival, which opened Sunday night at the Walter Kerr Theater, feels dangerously close to a smirk. It is a smirk shrouded.
Ben Brantley, what the fuck, man?
What is he talking about?
I have no idea if I'm being completely honest, but it is a smirk shrouded in shadows. An elegiac?
Yeah, elegiac?
What does that mean?
I think it's like elegy, but it's a adverb.
An elegiac darkness infuses this production, which stars Catherine Zeta-Jones in...
No, don't tell Doug.
Shut up, Andrew. No one else is going to laugh at that but me, but fuck. Doug Walker thirsts over Catherine Zeta-Jones. I can't be the only one that can get that joke, please.
I didn't get it, but I laughed at Andrew's laugh, so... Okay, which stars Catherine Zeta-Jones in a lively Broadway debut and the indomitable and invaluable Angela Lansbury. But the behavior of the characters who wander through a twilight labyrinth of passion in early 20th century Sweden has the exaggerated gusto of second-tier boulevard farce, of people trying a little too hard for worldliness. Okay, Ben?
What? I honestly, did he like it or not?
I can't tell most of the time, which is a problem.
I literally can't figure out what he's trying to say.
We'll keep going.
Even beyond that, what does he mean?
Mr. Nunn's Little Night Music, the first full Broadway revival of the show, may well be a hit too, though not because of any artistic finesse. It has what is a producer's favorite form of insurance these days. Stars known to the public from movies, television, and tabloids, of whom people can later say things like, she's even more beautiful in person. And as they surely will of the lustrous Miss Zeta-Jones. Or, she's amazing for her age, in reference to the 84-year-old Miss Lansbury.
How the fuck is Angela Lansbury still alive? I'm still thinking like, because she was 84 in like 2010.
Is she still alive?
Yeah, she's still alive.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I would remember if Angela Lansbury died. She was born in, she's 96 years old.
Wow.
That girl, you still got
Don't
it, girl.
jinx it before this episode comes out.
Watch this
you'll
episode
see.
come out. It's like Angela Lansbury dies.
Oh God. You're gonna jinx it. Take it back. Take it back.
Angela Lansbury, I don't want you to die. Gets hit by a car, not even old age related.
No.
Beep, beep.
Where's discretion of the heart? Where's passion in the art? Where's craft? Madame Armfeldt sings in Lamentation. Looking at the production she appears in, I'd say she has a point. On the other hand, looking at Miss Lansbury just then, I would say that those virtues still have their avatar in an actress who survived 6 decades in show business without losing either the craft or the passion in her art.
So he doesn't like the revival, but he doesn't really have any reasons why. He just kind of doesn't like it.
It's not as fancy as it should be.
Well, I mean, you got any show that has, you know, stepmother porn in it. It has to be for fancy boys.
Ben Brantley likes the stepmom porn to be preferably fancy. Ain't none of that amateur stuff.
No Mickey Mouse stuff. Come on.
That's a Tommy Wiseauism, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Do we agree with that review?
I don't even know if I watched the revival or not. Did I?
No,
I
you
watch
did
this
not.
version? Okay, then I have no opinion. Maybe it wasn't good. I don't know.
I don't know what
He
he's
didn't really
saying.
say anything about the show.
He's like, man, doesn't it suck that stars are on Broadway now?
It's literally like the whole thing is just like, and then he still goes out of his way to contradict himself by being like, one of those stars is still really good. It's like, okay.
Well, you know what? We can deal with the fancy pants opinions of one Ben Brantley. How about we just throw that all away and compare our opinions to those of the real critics on
The real critics,
letterbox.com.
That's what I'm talking about.
What we got, Bree? Set up the game, because I tell us how it works.
Okay, you guys know Letterbox reviews 1 star, 5 star. Mm-hmm. We know how to play this game. Okay, who wants to go first this week?
You decide. You run this shit.
First.
I'm running this shit. Okay, pick a number 1 through 10.
3.
5.
Andrew. Okay, Andrew's going first.
Yeah.
It was 8. Okay, first one. Drink every time someone gets horny. Take a shot whenever someone references genitalia.
That's an episode of Musicals with Cheese.
5 star, 1 star. And I'll be keeping score on the back of this bill.
1 star.
That is correct.
Good job, Andrew. Look at the big
Andrew.
brain on Brett.
All right. Jess, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Polygamy would solve this whole thing.
True.
Yeah, it's not wrong. It literally, if there was just a big old orgy, like, I think everyone would feel better at the end of it. I'm going to say 5 stars.
That's a 5 star.
So good at this game. Andrew, you're next.
Send in the cucks.
Cuck is generally an insult used by, internet far right people, but no one else uses that word really. So 1 star.
That's a 1 star.
I mean, he does get cucked real hardcore.
I'm not saying he doesn't.
You got a screenshot of the moment.
Just trying to justify my 1 star rating there.
All right.
Not that it needs to have one.
All right. Ready, Jess?
I'm ready.
Hey, Hal. Do you want to do something with the camera? No, thanks.
That's a 1 star.
That is a 1 star. Guys are crushing it.
Who's putting 5 star on this one? I feel like nobody.
This is a not great movie.
Okay, let me just... Okay. Andrew. Hal Prince, and then colon, frames yet another static medium close-up. The entire crew wants to die.
1 star.
That is a 1 star.
Is this the first ever 1 star or 5 star where it's all 1 star?
We've had a 5-star. Don't you worry. And we got a couple more.
Yeah, there wasn't much to work with here.
All right, Jess.
I'm ready.
Nothing is funnier to me than how angry Sondheim gets over Send in the Clowns going mainstream.
I mean, I agree with that. And also 5 stars.
That is 5 stars. Andrew.
Okay.
I walked in, period. A clown.
Turns out they're here.
5 stars? I don't know.
That's a 5-star. I mean, you guys haven't gotten one wrong.
I think we're just too much professionals here, Andrew.
Really?
Send in the clouds.
I love the Joker movie.
Joker movie? Hashtag Joker movie? Great movie. I still haven't seen it.
He sent in the clown, and the clown said, "You get what you fucking deserve."
So what is this song about, Jess?
Bada bing, bada boom, send in the clowns, as Frank Sinatra said when he was asked what the song was about.
There's clowns sometimes.
You know, sometimes bada boom, send in the clowns.
All right, Jess, your turn.
Yeah, alrighty.
Let him fuck his mom, you cowards.
They do.
1 star.
That is a 1-star.
They should just let him fuck his mom, you cowards.
They literally do.
We don't see it. We see him try to fuck Petra.
All right, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Henrik is gay and trauma dumps to a minor for advice. What a musical.
I see no lies detected.
I don't think Henrik is gay, because I do think Henrik wants to fuck his stepmom, like really badly. I do think that is a true desire. But he does spill the beans to like a 7-year-old. So 1 star?
That's a 5-star.
Why did you spill your
That's a-
beans?
Not sure why, but it's a 5. Okay. Men are stupid. Men are vain. Love's disgusting. Love's insane. A humiliating business.
I agree. Yeah, that is a quote, so I'm gonna give that a 5 star.
That's a 5-star.
I think love's a dirty business, so do I.
All right, Andrew, you got to catch up. I was entertained and bored at the same time.
Oh, I mean that should be like a 3 stars since it's both. Fuck, 1 star?
That's a 1-star. And the game is tied. Jess, this is your last one.
Don't fuck this up, Jen.
The first musical about having sex with your stepmom, but golly, probably not the last one.
Not when I'm done with it.
I'm gonna give that one a 5 star.
That's a 1-star. You guys tied.
Yeah, Andrew,
Yay.
we're evenly matched in every facet of our lives. We are both
So
just
proud of you
even.
both.
It's very true. We're both very evenly matched.
Andrew, let's have our victory tongue kiss that we have at the end of every one of these.
Oh my God.
Bree saw it. It really happened.
It's I mean, if you were on Patreon, you would have seen it.
Speaking of that, how about we go and talk about Patreon? Go to a mid show.
Musicals with cheese.
Sorry to interrupt you guys in the middle of the show, but we got to shrill at you.
Shrill.
What does he say?
Shill.
Shill shit. That works.
All right, keep going.
Oh shit, what does he say next? I never know.
Today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors at Patreon. Bree, why don't you tell them about Patreon?
Patreon is this really cool place where you can get exclusive content and never seen before podcast, seen or heard. And we have monthly meetups where we play a lot of really cool games. There's a bunch of content over there for you at Patreon. Join us today.
All
Andrew, why don't
Yeah.
you tell us the names of our patrons?
Our current patrons are Melissa Goldman, Leighton Eccles, Danielle Renix, Jess the Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Monica Thoreau, Eloise Fitzgerald, Mina Maniri, Brent Black, Nathaniel Stacy Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Carrie Ahern, Mary Lou Choquette, John Van Als, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Emily Gracie, Kyle Summers, Janae C, Scoot in the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Liz Lim, Allison Stoller, Nothing is Certain Except Beth and Taxes, Thespian, Red Cullen, Rafael Martinez Salaz, Robert Benjamin, Jessica T, Mitchell Young, Chai Teacup, Katie McDonough, Timothy Keys, Chris Marquette, Mimu, Kiji Marie Anastasio, Leela, RJ Nariga, Avon Regan, Charlie B, Patrick Deering, Joe, Avery Brinson, Marilyn Brown, La Femme Fictionale, Bjorn Hermans, Mac the Knife, Erica S, Toriana Frazier, Sammy the Most Lopez, Wayana Morton, Angela, Kaylee Blazier, Birdman 69, Daniel Smith, Cinemageddon Reviews, Villainous Miss, Shawana Enders, Sophina Ali, The Omega Geek, and Tori C.
These guys give us a little financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese. If you would like to join them in supporting us and get tons of fun perks such as Patreon commentaries, our episodes a full half week early, and a bunch of other fun shit, come join us over at Patreon. Let's get back to the show, guys.
Musicals with cheese.
So that opening number, how about that? That overture.
The one with the lyrics or without?
Without the lyrics. Fuck the one with the lyrics. I'm talking about the ones where they're just like, ah, and it's just like them a cappella singing.
That high note that they hit? Oh,
yes.
man.
Fuck, it's so good. Like, Sondheim doesn't get enough credit for how great his melodies are, and my God, this really sums up how good he is at this. They always are like, oh, he's so lyrical, but it doesn't really care about the actual tonation of the music, but this is like some of his best music proper.
It's quite good. I was very impressed with the opening. I like the opera aesthetic that they go for.
Yes.
It's very good.
Did you notice, because I know you're good with music, did you notice the entire thing was in waltz time?
I didn't notice at first, and I happened to read it after a couple songs, so I didn't really get the chance to notice it naturally. Though it is noticeable after listening to the songs more than once.
Mm-hmm. I think that it is an interesting effect and yet to be replicated. I feel like no one else is trying to put limits on themselves in that way anymore.
Yeah, and it's not necessary to do so, but it gives the whole show a different feel,
especially compared to Sondheim's other work.
Yeah, and I mean, Waltz Time just has a different effect, and I think it makes the whole show feel a little more bouncy, a little lighter than some of his other stuff.
Yeah, and it's no secret that his most popular song of all time comes from this musical, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic song.
I disagree, but
it's really good. It's about the Joker from the Batman series. It's a little weird that they just kind of stick it in here, but...
Well, before we get there, let's talk about the weird 3-part opera in the middle of Act 1, which is 3 songs that become 1 song in the end. So we have Now, which is Frederick Egerman's song, where he's trying to debate whether or not he should try to have sex with his 18-year-old wife. And it's a beautiful patter song, this incredible number where he's like, now do I da 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 da. It's so good.
The deployment of charm or be the adoption of physical force. Now B might arouse her, but let us assume my trip on my trouser leg crossing the room. Her hair getting tangled, her stays getting snapped, my nerves will be jangled, my energy sapped. Removing her clothing would take me all day, and her subsequent loathing would turn me away, which eliminates B and which leaves us with A.
Yeah, he's like, there's only 2 options. Either I can talk to her about it, or I can physically force her to have sex with me.
Yes, that is.
And he rules out both of them. He's very, very good man. Rules out both of those options.
I mean, we shouldn't be giving him credit for not raping his wife.
I am not giving him credit. That was very sarcastic.
No, I thought you were being sincere. It was 100%.
Sorry.
No nuance November.
No nuance November. Oh man, that's all year this year?
Yeah, it's all year. I'm so sorry to say it. But then we have Henrik's song, which is Later, which is him at the cello singing about how, he's got issues.
Sad, it's profound.
He's asking, when is later? We know Henrik. Everyone agrees, Henrik, please, Henrik. And then he has that very long, for God's sake moment.
Damn, and you nailed it too.
I'm not even exaggerating. That's how it sounds.
Everyone agrees, Henrik, please, Henrik. You have a thought you're fairly bursting with. a personal discovery or problem, and it's what's your rush, Henrik? Shush, Henrik. Goodness, how you gush, Henrik. Hush, Henrik. You murmur, I only. It's just that for God's sake.
I love the cello. I think that I love that his character is like, there's always a cello like in the music whenever he's there.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's good. It's weird. I love this song. I love it so much. It's very pretty. The one where you kind of get a vibe of him. And then we have Anne singing Soon, which is about, hey, I want to make love to you eventually. Soon. Not right now, but soon.
Soon, I promise. Soon, I won't shy away, dear old. Soon, I want to. Soon, whatever you say.
And then they bring all three of them together into Now Later Soon, which is its own song when you realize, oh shit, all three of these songs overlap with one another so perfectly. And it's like, you have this little like mini like payoff to an entire like mini play in the middle of Act 1. It's so good.
Soon, I promise.
When it's later,
Soon,
later,
I won't
Henrik
shy
later, whoever here is. Yes, we know Henrik. Oh, Henrik, everyone agrees. Henrik, please, Henrik.
Soon,
Later,
I want to.
when it's later, or whoever here is.
Yeah, no, it's very well done. Honestly, the music in this, I mean, it's Sondheim, and he's generally very, very good.
Yes.
But this is some of the best.
Yes. And we talked last week about storytelling songs, and I think the best storytelling song in this show, which is a debate between Desiree and Frederick, is You Must Meet My Wife.
She bubbles with pleasure, she glows with surprise, disrupts my accustomed leisure and ruffles my ties. I don't know even now quite how it began. You must meet my wife, my Anne.
Yes, and this is the debate in quotes because it's not really a debate. It's like one side being very passive and dismissive about it, and the other side just being ignorant to that fact in a way.
Yeah.
Or pretending to be ignorant to that fact.
Let's talk about that song. So what happens in it, Andrew?
Frederick is saying that Desiree must meet his wife, and he's giving all of these reasons as to why. And Desiree is just like, yeah, I don't really care. I don't really want to do that. I don't think she's good for you.
No,
Like,
but the thing is, he's like, oh no, she's great. She's kind. It has some of Sondheim's best rhymes. And then
Yes.
he gets like, you know, she's still a virgin. She won't have sex with me. And she's like, that fucking bitch. What the
Yeah.
fuck? That is like, doesn't she know that you need to get your rocks off? You need to get that nut out.
bruh.
Like,
Yeah.
let me see if I can
It's
find the
very good.
lyrics.
It's very good. I like the part where she says that she's gonna beat her.
Yes, it's what is it? She's frightened, unfeeling, unversed. She'd strike you as unenlightened. No, I'd strike her first.
Yeah.
What is it? You must meet my wife. Let me get my hat and my knife. What was that? I must meet your wife. Yes, you must. It's so good, so cutting, so some of the funniest lyrics that Sondheim ever did. And you and I once had a debate about what makes a song funny a long time ago. And I meant to write a Sondheim a letter asking about it, but then he up and died, so I couldn't do that anymore. But you said a song can sound funny and none of Sondheim songs sound funny. This is a funny song. Would you say it sounds funny? Or is it just lyrically funny?
I feel like it's just lyrically funny. Although I do think the part where the song actually cuts out and they like kind of restart it, the part you just mentioned,
Yeah,
actually,
that part
is
pretty well
it
played
is-
already.
The music kind of leans into the joke, which is kind of what I mean when I say sounds funny. It's like the music itself is leaning into the joke.
It adds to the punchline.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree with you. I just think that this song is very funny in the best ways. And it's character building. You can see Desiree's value. You can see Frederick's values. You can see why they're clashing in this moment, but also why they work so well together as a team. Such good stuff. But
parts that I didn't think were funny is what happens after that.
Liaisons.
No, actually, the Count's song.
Let's pause because I
find
do
the Count very not funny.
I
we can
agree.
talk about the other song first.
I want to talk about Liaisons because it has the worst rhyme I've ever heard. And Sondheim wrote it.
Oh no.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't. What is it?
Like, this is a famously bad rhyme, like so bad, and people are like, nah, Sondheim's got one bad.
Okay.
It's where he rhymes liaisons with raisins. So they make her say raisins, liaisons, raisins. It's terrible. And people have brought that up as like, nah, Sondheim's got one bad one.
At the villa of the Baron de Signac, where I spent a somewhat infamous year. At the villa of the Baron de Signac, I had ladies in attendance, fire opal pendants, liaisons. What's happened to them? Liaisons today, disgraceful. What's become of them? Some of them hardly pay their shoddy way.
Couldn't you just change that lyric? You know, it's a little tweak. It doesn't need to be raisins, does it?
No, and it's a big song number for the old matriarch of the show, but I hate this song. And
what if Sondheim pronounces it laisins?
The thing is, Sondheim doesn't write for himself. One of the most brilliant things he does is he writes for the voices. Like Sweeney Todd, he writes that for Cockney voices. He took rhymes that don't rhyme in American English and put it so it rhymes in Cockney. So let's take what is it? We'll keep things nice and tidy. We'll have chums over every Friday, which does not rhyme in American speech. But if you say it in Cockney, it does rhyme. He writes for that. So that's a terrible excuse.
What if he intended for Madame Ardfelt to say liaisons?
You sound like him, I think she just mispronounces words sometimes, so I wrote it like that.
I wrote it like that. I kind of thought she pronounced it laisins.
All right. Talk about the Count, Carl Magnus's song. I think it's In the Praise of Women.
The papers, he mentioned papers, some legal papers which I didn't see there. Where were they, the goddamn papers she had to sign? What nonsense, he brought her papers, they were important, so he had to be there. I'll kill him, why should I bother the woman's mind?
Yeah, the Count's just not a funny character.
No.
I don't know. I don't find him humorous. And I meant to bring it up during the story segment, but probably the worst part of the whole show for me is the wet clothes scene that just drags on and on. And it's like, holy shit, this is so long. There's no music in it. And then they do the Count song afterwards. And oh my God.
Yeah, that scene is much rougher in the movie than on stage. On stage, at least, kind of has a flow to it. In the movie, it just is like, oh my God.
It's really bad. In the movie, it's just like painful.
Did you think we'd be laughing? Did you think we'd watch this and laugh?
And it's just like this misunderstanding humor where it's just like
The Office.
It's just not funny. It's just really not funny.
Yeah. However, we talked about Every Day a Little Death. We do need to talk a little bit about A Weekend in the Country, which is one of Sondheim's opuses.
A weekend in the country, we should try it.
How I wish we'd been asked.
A weekend in the country, peace and quiet.
We'll go masked.
A weekend in the country.
Uninvited, they'll consider it odd.
A weekend in the country, I'm delighted.
Oh my God.
And the shooting should be pleasant if the weather's not too rough. Happy birthday, it's your present.
But
you haven't been getting out nearly enough.
Very good. It's a Act 1 closer. I don't know. It's good. I like that every character's in there. They have their own reasons for going for a weekend in the country and why they want to.
And it sets up the stakes
or
for
that they
Act 2
don't want to.
perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's just catchy. Like, people tend to say Sondheim doesn't write catchy songs. I hum A Weekend in the Country at least once a week, where I'm like, a weekend in the country. Da, 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 da. It's a very catchy number.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, we don't need to spend too much long on that. Do we have to talk about Send in the Clowns?
Can't move. Where are the clowns? Send in the clowns. Just when I'd stopped opening doors, finally knowing the one that I wanted was yours, making my entrance again with my usual flair.
Yeah, I mean, it was used in the Joker trailer.
And in the movie.
And in the movie. I didn't see the movie, but where is it in the movie?
I know it's used in there because it's used in the end credits, because I remember like, what the fuck? I remember being angry leaving the Joker when I saw it in theaters.
It's because it's in the credits, and you're just like, oh.
That's the last thing I was left for in like what was a god awful experience in a movie theater, and I'm just like, you gotta kill Sondheim before he's dead right now.
So,
do you want to hear the story about this?
What is this song about? I mean, yeah, give me the story. What do you got?
So, in the original run of the show, Sondheim was convinced this was Frederick's moment. Like, he was his breakdown moment. He wrote a song for Frederick, and the emotion wasn't landed in the audience. Would you believe it?
Yeah.
So,
not really Frederick's moment, I don't think.
Yeah, he didn't know that at the time, and so I don't know if you remember Glynis Johns from the Mary Poppins. She was the mother in Mary Poppins. She was playing the role of Desiree. She originated the role, and Sondheim had to write around her vocal limits, which was she could not take very much breath in. So he had to write very long pauses so she could take a breath, which dictated how the song was written. So he made it Desiree's moment, and he wrote it about like how foolish they are, and he called it Send in the Clowns. So therefore the song goes, isn't it bliss? Are we a pair? Were you sitting there on the... Because she couldn't fucking breathe. That's why her voice is so limited in how they use her throughout the rest of it. That's why You Must Meet My Wife, she's just having these statements instead of actually singing. And also another reason why they can just put any celebrity they want into that role anytime they revive it.
Send in the clowns.
Send in the clowns. And also the reason why this has become the most popular Stephen Sondheim song is because it's so brain-dumbingly easy to sing. Because...
And Frank Sinatra did it.
Yes. And Barbra Streisand did. Everyone's fucking sung this song. And Sondheim hates it because it really is not his style. He wrote it for a moment, for a character, for an actress. And it does not suit any of his highest esteem.
Yes, but let's talk about what the song is about.
It's about clowns.
The song is about clowns.
It's about how foolish we all are. Come on, we're all ridiculous. Send in the fucking clowns. Too bad.
Do we have the Frank Sinatra quote that you gave?
Yes,
that was very funny.
It is in the Sondheim documentary. I think I can find it somewhere. If not, look it up in the Sondheim 6 by Sondheim documentary. Find it yourself. Because there's an entire montage of every celebrity ever singing Send in the Clowns in that 6 by Sondheim documentary.
Send in the clowns.
And Sondheim is like, I just wrote it for an actress. It's not even like my style. It's not how I like. I don't like pop music.
I gotta say, I don't think it's that bad of a song though. It's got some fun lyrics to it. I like the idea of it, And I think sometimes it is okay to have a nice slow melody.
But that's not what he's really proud of, though. It's not complex. It's not ideal.
But I don't care what Sondheim is proud of. I think the song's fine. I think it sounds good in that moment.
But let's compare it to the song that comes afterwards, which might be one of my favorite Sondheim songs ever, which is the Miller song.
It's a wink and a wiggle and a giggle on the grass, and I'll trip the light fandango. A pinch and a diddle in the middle of what passes by. It's a very short road from the pinch and the punch to the paunch and the pouch and the pensions. It's a very short road to the 10,000th lunch and the belch and the grouch and the sigh.
I mean, it's a fine song, but it's by a nothing character that does nothing in the story.
She sums up, this is the 11 o'clock number, Andrew. This is the second to last number. This is like him being like, all the stops. I'm going to sum up the entire message of this entire show, the entire emotional complex, and the entire theme I'm trying to drill down you motherfuckers' throats in this one song as quick as I can and make it fucking rock. And it's the Miller
And
song.
what is that message, Jess?
The message is basically the same message as Cabaret, which I love. Let me see if I can find the lyric I'm looking for.
And it's have sex with everyone as much as you want all the time.
There are mouths to be kissed before mouths to be fed, and there's many a tryst and there's many a bed, and none be sampled and seen. In the meanwhile, a girl has to celebrate what passes by. What is the other one? There are mouths to be kissed before mouths to be fed, then there's many a tryst and there's many a bed. There's a lot of love missed, but I will not have been dead when I die. And a person should celebrate everything passing by, which is the summation of the entire message of the show with some of the most incredible lyrics I've ever heard.
Have sex with everyone, because someday you'll be dead.
Live your life for the fullest and fuck who you want to fuck, because it doesn't matter.
True.
It's a very short road from the pinch and the punch and the paunch and the pouch and the pension. It's a very short road from the 10,000th lunch and the belch and the grouch and the sigh. Holy shit, listen to that.
I think it's a fun song. I kind of wish they gave it to a more important character.
But the thing is, she is a comedy character that sums up everyone else's story from her own point of view, which I find fascinating. Petra is an underrated character, in my opinion.
Maybe they should have had her do more.
I feel like for a character like that, she does enough. She's on stage basically the entire time.
I guess. Well, and that's pretty much it. It's all reprises from there.
Yeah, but my God, the Miller Son, so fucking good. It needs more respect. Do more covers of that.
It's probably a hard one to sing.
I just sang it. Come on.
Not well.
It's not like a belty song, is it? Like at the end, it's like everything passing by. I guess a little bit.
I think it's a little bit fast in some parts as well.
But it's so cool. If you get an actor that can nail that song, it is an exhilarating experience. Andrew, it's time to compare this Sondheim musical to all the other ones, adding to your tier list. So would you remind the audience what your previous tier list is, if there's been any changes or anything like that?
So the tier list, to remind everyone, the tiers are A, B, C, and D. There is no higher tier than A, and there is no lower tier than D. And it's only rated in relation to the other shows on the tier list. This is not in relation to all shows, just other Sondheim shows.
When we hit 200, we might do a full-ass tier list.
Yeah, but that'll be a lot more comprehensive, and a lot of these shows will probably be in the upper tiers, even if they're in the lower tiers here. So, in A tier, we have Sweeney Todd, Gypsy, and Into the Woods.
3 good shows.
In B tier, we have Merrily, we have Sunday in the Park, we have Company, we have Follies, and West Side Story.
Mm-hmm.
In C tier, we have Pacific Overtures, Assassins, and what? Passion. Yes.
But that was Bree's first episode, dare I remind you.
And then in D tier, we have I can't even remember what the name of this one was. I know what it is. Evening Primrose. I know what it was. I just couldn't remember the name. Yeah, the TV thing he did.
I still think Sunday should be higher.
I know you do. That's very tragic. This one it's a little tough for me. It kind of straddles the line between A and B. I think it's better than West Side Story and more fun to watch than Sunday in the Park. But honestly, I don't know if I would put it above Merrily and Company.
Well, maybe Merrily and Company should be higher.
No, because those cannot be on the same tier as Into the Woods and Sweeney Todd. So I think this has to go in B tier.
But is it like mid-range B tier or higher B tier?
It's higher B tier.
Okay.
It's above like West Side Story and probably above Follies as well. But I don't know if it's above Merrily. All right. A Little Night Music. Right there. We're putting it right there in the B tier.
Yep. All right. That is official, guys. Maybe on our next Sondheim, things will change. But Andrew, what is your overall thoughts on A Little Night Music and your cheese rating?
My overall thoughts is that it's quite good, and I enjoyed it. There's some kind of whack stuff in there. But honestly, I think it's for the best because it's kind of funny. I laughed a good amount at some of the crazy shit that goes on. The music is pretty good, and honestly, the only stuff that I don't like is some of the scenes really drag. I already mentioned honestly, I think it's just the Count. I think the Count scenes just fucking drag. I just don't like that character that much. I didn't find him very funny, which is interesting because usually I find those type of like overly compensating masculine men. I find those characters funny, but this character did not work for me.
That was the one character you liked from By Jeeves.
It's true, and I just did not like it here. But still, that's a small complaint. Most of the show is very good. And for cheese, I'm going to give it night cheese, which is an Urban Dictionary definition for cheese that you eat at night. So it's like when you raid the fridge and you eat directly from the shredded cheese bag, and it's like 2 a.m. It's like that.
Perfect. Makes perfect sense, Andrew. Brie, what'd you think of our discussion and your cheese rating of that?
I really thought that Andrew just put a lot of effort into his cheese rating. And I thought that was fantastic.
He typed in night cheese. What the fuck are you talking
That's so much effort. Your discussion was great, as always. It sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the stage show is better than the movie.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't mention that. Yeah, don't watch the movie. The movie does
bad.
suck ass.
So if ever given the opportunity to see this in a live theater, I absolutely would. It sounds good. And I'm going to give it a cheese rating of a grilled cheese because that sounds good to me right now.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Brie, thank you so much for producing this.
You're welcome.
I love a little night music. It's got some of my favorite Sondheim songs, including The Miller's Son, which I'd rank among probably my top 5 Sondheim songs ever written. The music is gorgeous. The comedy still works as kind of over the top as it is. The only thing is I don't particularly like about it are the movie.
Which is not, you don't have to like the movie.
Yeah, I don't have to like the movie. So the only cheese rating I can give it is Baby Gouda cheese from a company called The Miller's Cheese. 'Cause I will marry the Miller's cheese. All right, you guys, you know who definitely will marry the Miller's son, though?
Our patrons?
No, Brianna Jones. But our patrons are also great. Thank you guys for listening. We're on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher at Musicals for Cheese. We're on Twitter at Cheesy Musicals. We're on Patreon, Musicals for Cheese. Instagram, Musicals for Cheese. Our YouTube page is Musicals for Cheese. We have a patron-only podcast called Patreon with Cheese. Go check that out. We're talking about Tangled. There's a series. Email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. Our keeper of the cheese is Juliet Antonio. You fucking rock, Juliet. This show is produced by the amazing, the incredible, the wonderful Brianna Jones. Our theme songs were created by Robin Nash of IOU Music UK. Thank you, Robin. You make such amazing music. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for not kicking us off the platform, for not talking about fucking our moms, like basically twice in a month. It's been a weird month.
It's a bad month.
It's a bad month for wanting to fuck your mom.
At least you guys didn't do it the same month as like Mother's Day or something like that.
That's next month. We're close though. No, on Father's Day, we're going to talk about daddy fucking.
Or sad dads.
Sad
Sad
dads.
dad month.
Oh my God, that would be great. But sadly, it's Pride Month. All right, guys. Anything else we got to say before we wrap this? Oh yeah, thank you to the Broadway. We already said that. Yeah, fuck, we're done.
We did it.
We made it to the end of the podcast somehow. But we'll see you next time on Musicals with Cheese.
Musicals with Cheese.
It's a wink and a wiggle and a giggle in the grass, and I'll trip the light fandango. It's a pinch and a diddle in the middle of what passes by. It's a very short road from the pinch and the punch to the punch and the pouch and the pension. It's a very short road to the 10,000 lunch and the belch and the grouch and the sigh. In the meanwhile, there are mouths to be kissed before mouths to be fed, and a lot in between in the meanwhile. And a girl ought to celebrate what passes by.